What's up, guys? Welcome to the first episode of Kicks of the Trade, where we are bridging the gap between the casual sneaker fan to the avid sneaker enthusiast. I'm one of your hosts, Kelsey Cristiano, and I am with
Chris Holloway.
What up, Chris?
What's goody? I'm excited.
I'm so excited to get started. We've been talking about starting a podcast for a long time now, and I mean we've been good friends for a while, but I'm really excited to dive in and have our vision come to life.
I know I'm excited. I'm excited. We had this for a while, so I think what we need to do is tell the people what we're doing, like what Kicks of the Trade is.
Yeah, what is Kicks of the Trade?
So
great question.
Yeah. So like Kelsey said, Kicks of the Trade. What we're trying to do is bridge the gap between the casual sneaker enthusiast to the avid sneaker enthusiast, and then everything in between. So that comes from fashion. So, hey, I got a date. Hey, we're kind of doing something casual, and I want to wear a sneaker. What sneakers should I wear? Hey, I'm just getting into sneakers. Hey, what are the do's and don'ts? That's some of the things that we're going to get into. But also, there's a full spectrum. Kelsey, there's some things, I guess, that you'll want to be talking about in terms of like women's issue from women's sneakerheads. Another thing that I probably want to talk about is I have a huge foot, the issues of having a big foot and being a sneakerhead, you know? So just a full spectrum of what the sneaker culture brings to in terms of like the influencers in the sneaker culture, the athletes, the entertainers, the fashion designers, the art of sneakers, you know, just the full spectrum of the sneaker culture. We're not just going to be talking about like doing sneaker reviews. We're not just going to be talking about like what we think is hot. It's giving you the full spectrum. So you come here and you might get something a little bit different every day, but you are going to get something about some sneakers.
Yeah. Really the blend of all things sneaker lifestyle, a conversation, community, bringing people together and just talking about, the trends and what to wear and really how to make sneakers a part of your life. Because that's one thing that we obviously have in common in terms of what we're passionate about, and really just talking about kind of what's in the industry and how to get into it.
Yeah, and how to navigate through it. So
there's so many questions when you're getting into sneakers, like where do you even begin?
Absolutely, like even where to get them from. So we're going to help you out with those type of things, and that's what we're here to do. So but before we dive into that, hey, let's get some background. So Kelsey, do you want to tell them about like your origin story about how you got into sneakers, how you fell in love with sneakers, how you got so passionate about it?
Yeah. So I got into sneakers. I would definitely say my sneaker style has evolved. Really, the first pair of sneakers I remember like really wanting as a little girl were the Adidas Superstars.
Okay.
In middle school, and like that's the first kind of like fashion sneaker I can really think about wanting, because for me, like growing up, sneakers that's like what you wore when you played sports. You know, I wasn't really into like the fashion aspect of it. Mm-hmm. So when the Adidas Superstars come out, I was like, I got to get some of those.
Right.
And then like, as you started to learn a little bit more about sneaker culture, I started getting into hip hop in high school. I got a pair of the Fat Farm slides.
Yeah. I feel like
you remember those things?
I've had like every girl had those, at least one pair.
Oh, I wore them till they like got a hole in them, and I probably thought I looked like so cool. And now I look back and I'm like, I don't think like I'd ever really wear a pair of slides like that. Right. Again, unless they come back, everything comes back eventually. So yeah, outside of that, in high school, like, Converses were cool. I was kind of into like the skater sneaker. I remember, wearing Etnies. But when I really got into more of like the Jordans and the Nike shoes, I bought a pair of Dunks going into college, and I was like, I'm gonna be rocking these at CU and like being cool and stuff.
Go Buffs.
Go Buffs. And I was really proud of buying that shoe because I just thought I was like above, like beyond the curve, if you will.
Yeah.
And then I kind of got my like heartbroken when I moved to Chicago in 2014, and someone looked at me and was like, don't you ever come around wearing those shoes, dirty ass shoes again. He's like, those belong in the trash. I was like, oh my God, like, okay, that was a little harsh.
That like
I'm so proud of these
shoes. Show me moment.
Yeah, and that was kind of like my like aha moment of like getting into sneakers. Because growing up, I grew up in Colorado, grew up in the suburbs, like sneaker culture like really wasn't out there quite yet.
Right,
so I think
it was more like
growing up,
the East Coast, West Coast, South thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like I wouldn't say like I didn't really know like what was cool and what wasn't. Like my parents had to shop for me, so it wasn't like I had money really to buy my own clothes or sneakers. So I was kind of at the beck and call of like, you know, whatever was out there. But really when I moved to Chicago, it was like sneaker culture was like in your face. And I started learning a lot more about like, you know, Jordans and Yeezys and, you know, Air Maxes, and really just kind of like fell in love with that whole like culture of sneakers. So that's really when I started to get into it. And then I just started, you know, learning more and talking with people and meeting other people that had the same passion for sneakers. And it's been history ever since. That's my sneaker love story.
So my story is a little bit different from yours, but I started a lot younger. I was probably first fell in love with sneakers probably like 6th or 7th grade. Like before, like you said, up until that point, I was getting like my one pair of Air Force Ones. And I didn't get them because they were Air Force One. I got them because they usually were the only shoe in my size, and they were Nike. So I at least knew Nikes were cool. But it wasn't really until I started hooping for real that like sneakers and the hoop culture are like synonymous. So I remember my uncle Dana, got me my first pair of Jordans, the Jordan 12s, Final Shots. They weren't called the Final Shots then. They were like, that was just the 12, the black and red 12s.
Yeah.
And I got them and I was so geeked up. I was like, yo, I got some Jordans. Like you couldn't tell me nothing. Like I felt like I was floating all day when I was wearing the J's. So I was like, I just instantly fell in love. I was like instantly like turned on. Like I wanted to hoop. I wanted every sneaker. I wanted everything. So like for Christmas, I wanted sneakers. Birthday, I wanted sneakers. Graduation, sneakers. Anytime I did anything good and a gift was involved, I was trying to get sneakers. Like that was it for me. Like I was hooked. And then it was love at first sight. And then as I got better at basketball, I noticed that like the shoes started coming in. Like you got more exclusive shoes, you got more access to shoes. And then me having a big foot, like I could really only wear like Jordans and like Nikes because Adidas wasn't really coming out with like shoes like that because I have a wider foot. So then I started learning about like Nike Talk, which is like a website that was talking about like the releases before like you had like Kicks on Fire and like Instagram and all that stuff. There's a website called Nike Talk. So I was finding out about releases like the super old prehistoric way, like, yo, my boy told me his guy told him. Or like you go to Foot Locker and like, hey, you got a guy in the back who knows that the shipment's coming in, you know, and then also like the East Bay magazine. That's why I used to order my shoes too. Like I remember I used to get the East Bay. That joint was like Christmas. Like every time I
didn't like learn what that was until like 5 years ago.
Yeah, so the East Bay magazine, and you look through the East Bay magazine now, I'm like, I would have got those. I'd have got those. But that's the way we did it. Like there was no bots. There was no there was
the good old days.
Like, yeah, the good old days. Like we had to camp out in lines. I remember we used to go like my boy Barry had the military ID. We used to go on the base and get sneakers even though we wasn't supposed to. So like we was doing everything. And then I worked at a urban clothing store. So like we would get all the sneakers too. So I hooked my boys up and stuff like that, make sure they got their pair. But that was my love story. And then obviously now I have a sneaker business, a business that involves sneakers. So I really tried to carry that passion from sneakers into a business. And man, it's just like that was it for me. I was hooked, you know. So that's my origin story. That's my love story.
Yeah.
or sneakers.
I love it. So one of the things that you brought up like made me think of something that I do now, and like this was like my avenue into like really getting into like being able to purchase sneakers, because as we know, like sneakers are expensive. Like it's like you gotta have some coin to get some.
You're paying at least $200
now.
For
like, you know, for the exclusive stuff, but so how I really started building my collection, I'm in sales, and so I would be making all these side bets like with my partners at my company, and if I would hit like certain goals or certain quotas, like it's kind of the running thing in my office, like Kelsey's getting a pair of shoes. Right. So like that's how I started building my collection, was I would hit my sales goals, and I knew I got the, you know, True Blues coming my way. I got the Space Jams, I think were the first ones I got in my little like side bets with my company.
Yeah, you always gotta find a way.
Gotta find a way.
Like that's the only reason I got a job. I got a job to like, I didn't really care about clothes because all I would do was wear like basketball shorts and tees. And like I always had to have fresh J's, like Jordans, Nikes, whatever. They always had to be fresh, like 2 or 3, maybe a couple times. Then I had another pair. At one point, I was probably buying a pair of shoes every week. Because I was working and I didn't have no rent. Wasn't paying rent or anything. All I had to do was do good in school, hoop, and buy sneakers and go to work. So like, that's it, you know. So.
Would you consider yourself a shoe addict?
Back in the day, yeah. Not so much now. The responsibilities and the lifestyle has changed.
Yeah.
But if you ask me like in my like teens and my early 20s, hell yeah, like most definitely. Like would I sacrifice a meal for some J's back in the day? Absolutely. I'm like, I won't eat for a couple of days. I'll eat oodles and noodles to get these.
No.
Yeah. I'm good on these water sandwiches. Like, you know, like I'm good.
Yeah.
So,
that's amazing. Well, one of the things too, I'm really excited to get going, you know, as we move forward in new episodes. You know, we've talked about this before. Like, you're definitely like more of that like old school, like you knowledge, like you've got like, you know, a lot about sneakers, and I'm more of like the kind of like aspiring sneakerhead. Like I'd say I know a lot more than most, but like there's still so much to learn and talk about. And like I think an interesting topic that we'll definitely get into is just like, you know, obviously tricks of the industry, like how to like, you know, how to hit a drop, like how to like what you need to know and basics.
I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't know the tricks. I just got to know people at this point now. But
how to get the connect.
I do want to talk about, since we are talking about like sneaker topics and stuff like that, is getting to our first topic. So little controversial. I think it's not that big of a deal. Some people think it's a big of a deal, but Lil Nas X. So Lil Nas X came out a very controversial shoe to most people. It's called the Satan shoe, got 666 on it. Rumored to have a drop of blood in every shoe in the air bubble, Air Max 97. Black and red with the pendant on it. Lot of very satanic imagery on the box and within the shoe. So I just want to know, like, as a sneakerhead, as a new sneakerhead in the game, I guess, what do you think about shoes like that? What do you think about what it does for this culture in terms of like a sneakerhead culture, a music and an entertainment culture? And then I guess, what does it look like in terms of for you as like a consumer? Like, would it be a shoe that you would even consider having in your home?
Yeah. Man, Lil Nas X, he was making the headlines. Like, man, everyone was talking about that shoe.
Hit up from everywhere, and people who don't like sneakers hit me up.
Oh yeah, they're like, is this real? Like, what? Yeah. And I just think this is so interesting. Like, would I buy the shoe? Probably not. You know, like drop of blood, that like brings drip to like a whole new level here. Like, I'm not trying to have like blood in my shoes. I mean, they look kind of cool, like they're red and black. But but man, and like a lot of controversy with it, obviously. And I think Nike ended up suing Mischief, which was the designer that created the shoe with Lil Nas X, and obviously from all the bad press that Nike was getting, because I think the issue here really stems with like it wasn't a Nike sponsored shoe.
Right, correct.
Like this was like artwork, done by an artist essentially. And so I think Nike did the right thing, because a lot of people, I don't feel like can have like we're deciphering between, is this Nike or is this something else?
Right.
And in the shoe industry, like there's collabs all the time. And I think Nike did the right thing by suing him and showing that like this wasn't something that we sponsored. But I gotta give it to Lil Nas X. Like he's getting people talking about him, and I think his music video was kind of creepy, but at the same time, like being a gay Black man who has been ridiculed and made fun of, and people are telling him to go to hell. I thought, more power to you. You took it straight to hell.
Yeah,
my friend.
Legit.
And people are talking about him.
Yeah, I mean, from a standpoint of a sneaker enthusiast and from a standpoint of a sneaker guy, I thought the shoe is pretty basic to me in terms of like just the way it looked and the way the feel of it. I think it was like, okay, cool. It simulates blood, but to me, it's a black and red Air Max 97. Black and red is probably one of my favorite colorways. Outside the 666 Independent, it's a basic shoe to me. So aesthetically, like I wouldn't just run and grab it. And then also on another aspect, I wouldn't have, because like for me, I grew up in a Christian home. Like I'm not like saying, oh, I got like Jesus Christ paintings all over my walls or anything like that. But I just don't want to bring that type of like energy into my home, like I don't want to have that in my home. So, but do I get what he did? Absolutely. Like, I think it was genius. Now, from a business standpoint, I think it's genius. I think it's absolutely genius, because what he said, like, let's be very transparent about Lil Nas X. He is a professional troll now who makes music. So he plays up on that type of stuff. Like he plays, like, I think when Nike first came out with the lawsuit, he was talking about how, oh, I hope Nike doesn't take away all my sneakers or something towards that effect. Like he even played about being sued about them. And Nike, I think, like you said, Nike had to take those actions, because I was seeing posts, and I knew Nike didn't have anything to do with the shoe, but I was seeing posts like, oh, we're boycotting Nike. Yeah. Now, let's be real. Like I've heard people say they're going to boycott Nike because of Kaepernick. Nike's still selling sneakers. I still people don't boycott Nike's because of LeBron. They still selling sneakers. Now they're going to boycott Nike because of Lil Nas X. They're going to still sell sneakers. So let's just call it what it is. But in terms of like this is one of those ideal situation is bad press is good press, or whatever the saying. I don't know. I don't remember what the saying is exactly. But
the more they're talking about you, the better it is.
Right. Like, because I'll tell you like this. I'd never seen a video until they talked about it being associated with a sneaker. I didn't honestly, I don't know any other Lil Nas X songs outside of Old Town Road. So it made him relevant again. It did what it,
I don't know Panini.
Oh, I do know that song. But I couldn't like sing it to you. Like, but I know that was his song. I do know that.
Yeah.
But he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's an entertainer. Now, everybody else thinks entertainer in a positive light, but you also can be an entertainer as an antagonist, and that's what he's doing. And then he's bringing a sneaker culture in it, because he's known as somewhat of a sneakerhead in a minuscule way, but he is a sneakerhead. And then we were talking about it earlier before we went live, but Mischief made a shoe before this. It's very similar in the sense, but on the opposite side, he made the Holy Waters. He made the Holy Water sneaker, and that got a lot of attention.
The Jesus shoes.
Yeah, the Jesus shoe. It had holy water in it, and that got a lot of, but it didn't get controversy, and that's why Nike let him keep making it. But they also made only 50 pairs. They made 666. That's a big difference in terms of like how much money they make off of Nike too.
That's very true, because they're mass selling it.
So a lot of people not talking about this, but Nike might be like, yo, we don't care about this really, but they're making $250,000 off of this if you really think about it. because the shoe is what, $1,000. I think it's $1,048 a pair at 666 pairs. That's over $250,000. Nike's like, nah, you're not about to be off of us.
Yeah. So, but on the flip side, I think so. Let me just look at it, because this was an interesting topic to me, because the Jesus shoes came out 2019, right? Those are reselling for a lot right now, though.
Yeah.
You know, so like I don't know the exact price. I think they were like $4K.
The shoe originally was not. The shoe originally
what was it originally?
It was like $1,400. But let me tell you this. But the Satan shoes indirectly, or directly, spiked up the price of the holy water shoe.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And that's part of the super game, you know?
But yeah, the Jesus shoes, when they came out, because they were originally made as kind of like a troll of sneaker collabs. Yeah. They were trying to, in a way, show just like how outlandish some of these sneaker collabs have gotten, and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna make a collab with Jesus. Right.
But that's the thing. Like, that's what I find funny about it, is like, they just did a collab with Jesus, and like people didn't see it that way because they were so like here thinking that he was like, Bishop was way, way, way ahead of the game with that.
Exactly. That's so smart.
Jesus, like, you can't top this collab. Nobody can top this collab. You know, like. So I thought it was pretty funny. Would I get the holy water shoe? Probably not either. I just don't think $1,400. The shoe is still basic to me. $1,400.
It wasn't $1,400.
I can't get it. $1,400 for a sneaker.
You're really walking on water though with those shoes, man.
But I'm good on those. I think it'll be like, if somebody gave them to me, I'll definitely display them. But I wouldn't get them. I'm just not a person who like buys shoes off of strictly hype. I really don't get caught up in that, because when you're 15, you don't really have that opportunity to. So
100%. Like, you're buying the shoes because like you really like them and want to wear them, and not because you're trying to be some like hype beast over here, like flexing on what you got.
Talk about those.
Speaking of, that's an awesome segue into the next little hot topic that we've got. Because what month did this happen? I think I want to say a couple months ago.
February or March.
Yeah.
It was when I want to say it was February, because it's right around All-Star break.
Yeah.
But anyways, in the last couple of months or weeks.
Yep. So a Nike exec's son got caught in a little controversy here, reselling some of his extra discounted employee discounts that he was getting, and turned it into a resale business. And the VP of Nike had to step down, obviously. So yeah, Chris, what was your take on that when that all broke?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie, initially I had some mixed emotions. I went on another podcast and talked about this. Just another podcast. Shout out to those guys over there. They're some of my closest friends. But I went on the podcast and talked about this. I initially was like infuriated by it, because being somebody who's like missed on so much, on so many sneakers, it's like this kid is just like hitting every single time. His mom, he got the perks of his mom's card. He got the perks of she's working for Nike. He has the perks of like, I can just go and grab them. And then he's selling them. I'm like, yo, this is like, you feel like you have no chance to win. Then I took a step back out of like the consumer role and looked at it as a parent role. If my son had a business and I can help his business flourish, would I? Absolutely. Because there's no sense in having a parent who works for Nike if you can't take advantage of the perks for your parents working for Nike. Now, would I have done things a lot differently? Absolutely. Like, I wouldn't have let him use my card to buy the stuff, like my Nike corporate card. But would I have told him about releases? Absolutely. There's no advantage. It's like, okay, hey, my dad's LeBron, but I still got to go buy my Nikes. No, like, I'm going to use the perks of my dad. Like Michael Jordan's sons, they flourish in business because who their dad is. So it's like, so I look at it like this. So everybody who's been successful in business because of their parents, do they just want to start all over from rock bottom? No, they want to take advantage of the perks they get from their parents. So I'll shout out Kadeem because he actually changed my mind on that because I was infuriated when I first heard it. But
I mean, you've got a point there. Like, yeah, like he should get some perks, like his, you know, mom works for Nike. But I think where it really struck a chord for me, you know, like he doesn't need to get 100 pairs of Off-Whites then.
That's true. That's true. I think
he gets one pair.
I think where it struck a chord with me is the way he displayed it. Like, I don't like that he act like, oh, I got all these connections. I developed all these connections. I networked to get these shoes.
That's a liar.
Your mom got them for you, and that's okay. But don't act like, yo, I'm plugged up. I'm the plug. Like, no, your mom's the plug, and you
like
got
started from the bottom. Now we're here. Like,
yeah, I don't like that.
Bro.
That's what I don't like. That's what I don't like the most. Or like, he's just like, his Instagram was a fabricated lie. Like, you know how we say people flexing for the gram? He was flexing for the gram. Like, he was doing all those things that I don't like to see people do, especially in the sneaker culture. Like, sit there and pose with like 80 boxes, like you're sitting on a throne. Like, come on, bro. Like, come on. And that's why his kids always blurred out, because his mom or people would recognize who he is. Like, hey, isn't that your son? Or like, isn't that blah, blah, blah? So I'm curious. One of the things I am, though, curious about is how his business will do now that his mom doesn't have that power. I think he'll still do well because she still has friends who work for Nike. But we'll see, because I mean, let's be honest with you. If you have a chance to buy sneakers for the low or for not as much StockX or GOAT prices, then you would probably still go through him. Like, if you can get a shoe, you would still go through him. I don't think people don't have any qualms with still buying from him. I just think he'll have the issue of maintaining like that super exclusive inventory. Yeah,
very true. I mean, when I found out about that, like, it was kind of like I was pissed at first, but then I was like, that's kind of funny, like, in a way that you think about how hard it is to hit on some of these shoes, like, and like I'm sitting here, like, got a timer, and I'm like, you know, putting my computer up and my phone up, trying to get ready for a shoe to drop, and it's like, by the time they drop, they're already sold out, and I'm like, that little asshole.
Right, and that's what everybody associates with. I did it because of him.
Yeah, it's probably not necessarily true.
He only had 50 pairs out of like 500,000, but it's like, you took my pair. That's how
took my pair.
That's how everybody feels, like he took your pair. But I'm not like mad about it. I just don't like that he like act like he got it out the mud.
Yeah. I feel that.
Okay, so I do want to. So just to wrap things up.
Yep.
Close towards the end. Best pickup of March.
The best pickup of March for me would be the Jordan MA2s.
Okay, the new beginnings.
What? The new beginnings. Yep, the new beginnings. Oh, they've got just like an awesome silhouette. They've got like the neutrals, the tan, the white, a little bit of pink at the bottom with the gum sole, and I am in love with them. They're comfy, but like the second I put them on my feet, like I was getting mad compliments.
Yo, I would say, I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go. That's my favorite pickup.
I will say, like, when I first saw the shoe, it was like, okay, it was something different, because I'm all about like the new. Like, I really like how that's really trying to, like, Jordan's trying to really come out with new silhouettes and not just like playing off of retros and stuff like that. And that one really just stuck. I know a lot of like women and sneaker enthusiasts who were just all over that release. And even Michael Jordan was seen at the Charlotte Hornets game wearing them. And I think they did a good job, man. They did a really good job. If you don't know that shoe, do yourself a favor and Google it. It's the MA New Beginnings. It's a dope shoe. Hope they come up with more colorways. If they don't, I'm cool with it, because sometimes they do and they ruin it. But I wouldn't mind seeing a grape colorway would be fire in those.
I think they've got some different colorways on the like planned out.
Yeah, but I will say it's a nice shoe for like a lot of occasions. Like if you want to go to the gym, I can see that. If it's like a good brunch shoe, like, hey, like athleisure type stuff. And I can even see, I don't see you really like dressing it up too much. Bless you. I don't really see you dressing it up too much, but it's definitely a shoe that has a lot of versatility in it.
Yeah. I wore them when we were watching March Madness. Just wore them with a pair of black jeans and a black top, and they were looking clean.
Yeah, get them before they start buzzing. If you can get them on the resale market at a good price or somewhat close to retail, I would say I tell everybody to go ahead and grab a pair. I think it's one of those shoes that's going to be a staple in wardrobes.
That's something in my throat.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. I would say
what was your favorite pickup?
Yeah, mine is the ready-made Blazers. It was one of those shoes that
those are nice.
Yeah. It was one of those shoes that I saw and I was like, man, it's a little funky, but I kind of like it. But I had to see it in hand. And when I saw it in hand, I was still like, all right, it's better than in the picture. And then I put it on and it was like, oh, this might be one in the runnings for the top shoe of the year. Yeah. It literally looks like a piece of artwork. It's like recycled artwork on your foot. Like it's constructed well. It's like comfort level. I give it like a 7. It has not much technology in the sole, but in terms of aesthetics, man, it hits on all the chords.
Yeah,
like 3 laces.
Yeah, those shoes are dope. I like how you said, like, sometimes you see a shoe and you're like, I don't know what that would look like on my feet. And it's kind of like trying on, like, you got to try on different clothes, right? To see what looks good on you. So you don't always get to do that with shoes necessarily, but that's kind of one of those ones that you're like, I don't know if this would look good on my feet. And then like you put it with a fit and you're probably like just looking good.
It. And it goes with the colors, so I'm not.
I know, it's like it would go with your outfit right now.
Yeah.
Shout out House of the Trade. Where's my crop top?
It's coming. It's on the way. What does Kels say? Still in the meeting or something? Something. Yeah. Like that. You'll get it pretty soon.
All right. So up next.
Cop or drop.
Cop or drop.
So first shoe up is the ZX 8000 Super Earth, the Sean Weatherspoon Adidas. I think this is his second installment with Adidas. He's not making the shoes anymore for Nike. I think he's like somewhat like a independent type vibe. I don't think he has like really a contract with anybody.
What are your thoughts on these? I think they're sick. Like I'd probably say drop for me personally. Like they're not totally like my style, but like I think they're cool. Like they kind of got like those like Travis Scott Dunks vibe in a way with like some of like the patterns on them. I just don't know if it's necessarily for me.
Yeah, I share the same sentiments. Like I think it'll look good on like somebody who's like super high fashion, stuff like that. Just for the way I dress right now, I just don't see it really fitting in my wardrobe. But if somebody gave it to me, would I pull it off? Yeah, absolutely. I just don't see myself really like making an effort and going after it. But I'll say, you know what? I'll say a cop because I do like having a pop of color on my feet. But I just wouldn't like make a super effort to go after them. But I would cop them. Now the ones previous to that,
probably really expensive.
Yeah. Retail, I think they retail for like $140. Yeah.
I just feel Sean Witherspoon shoe though. Probably gonna that it might get up there. We'll see, right?
Yeah, that resale. Oh man, and his Adidas. I mean, they do well. It won't be like his Air Max, his Nike Air Max, but they do well. Second shoe, the Jordan 1 Hyper Royal.
I am copping these. Okay. I love them.
You love them?
I'm a Jordan 1 girl, but they look pretty. Nice spring shoe. Like I feel like you can like a lot of different options for like what you could wear them with. Absolutely. They kind of remind me of the turbo greens, but you know, like a more light blue, obviously colorway. But I'll be getting those. Hopefully.
So for that reason, I'm actually going to drop them. Because I do have the turbo greens already, and I think the turbo green is a way doper shoe. And I'm like, look, I don't need two of the same shoes. Do I want them? Absolutely. But I'm not gonna go after them. I'm not gonna go after them because I think the Turbo Green is a better shoe. And like I said, I just don't need two of the same shoes anymore. Like there's too much heat coming out.
It's okay to say no too. Like
yeah,
you don't.
it's okay. And I'm a Jordan 1 guy. I have probably upwards of like 40 pairs, and I'm just like, nah, I gotta sit these out. So because there's too much heat coming out like right after it. So I'm gonna say no to those. And the last one we got the Yeezy Foam Runners.
Drop.
Oh.
Those are some like souped up Crocs.
Come on.
So, no, I'm not buying $700 Crocs, man.
Okay, so let's do it. I like the Foam Runners. I didn't when I on first sight, I was like, hell no, no way. Looks like a space alien shoe. Absolutely not. But the more I looked at them, it was like it's almost like it was so ugly, it was hot. Like weirdly enough. And then I started putting an outfit together in my mind. And once I do that, it's a wrap. So I was sold on them. I went like when they dropped, they already came out. I went after them hard. I hit up people. I tried to get them so hard. Like I really tried to get them because I think the versatility in them are there. Like it's a shoe that you could wear out. It's a shoe like you can wear to the beach. It's a shoe like you can just like lounge around in. I think it has a lot of potential. And I think they're coming out. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're coming out with a navy blue colorway soon because they came out with the two like kind of whitish colors. And then they came out with a gray color. And I think for later this year, they're coming out with a navy blue, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm definitely going after that navy blue colorway, like 1,000%. And
the moon gray, the multicolor one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are not talking about this, but I haven't really heard anybody, but you can customize that shoe because it's like a more like a mold. Like you can like draw on it, like you could dip it like in a tie-dye. It has so much potential that people are not even thinking about in terms of like customization. Like imagine you getting that shoe, you just dip it in a tie-dye. I mean, it might look like a Croc then, but it's doper. But the resale on those are crazy. Like they retail at $80 and they're reselling for like $400 or $500.
Because they're easy.
Every Yeezy doesn't resell like that anymore, but those, like if it's a first one, they're gonna resell. But I think people are starting to fall in love with them because they're ugly hot.
Yeah, ugly hot, and that's a good point. I actually saw these on someone's feet recently. Mm-hmm. And wait, are these? No, they're not even out yet fully, right?
No, they're out. They're out.
Okay. Just not the gray ones. Yeah. No, I saw them on someone's feet.
At the same time.
Okay. I saw them on someone's feet in Mexico, and like they looked all right, like on like he was pulling them off. I don't know, that tends to happen with Yeezy. I remember the first Yeezy came out, everyone was like, oh, like what is Yeezy doing? Yeah. Like what is Kanye doing? And now look where it is.
Yeah.
So you might be onto something.
Hey, I'm telling you,
I might change my mind.
It's like the most polarizing shoe I would say right now of 2021 is the Foam Runner. When I first saw it, I didn't like it. Like I said, I'm in love with it now. Like I'm hooked, and I'm not even an Adidas guy.
Yeah.
But
well, I can't wait to see what you throw together with them.
Yeah.
But,
that's a wrap.
Yep.
Thanks you guys for listening to us. Just a few things. Follow me on Instagram. At House of Trade _INC. My personal Instagram is C_Hollows, HOLLOWS. Kels?
Give me a follow, Kelsey Cristiano. There's no H in my last name, Cristiano, like Cristiano Ronaldo. But yeah, give us a follow and, do us a favor. If you like what you hear today, subscribe, give us a rating, and make sure you jump in on the conversation. We want to hear what people are interested in learning about and talking about. And keep coming back. We're going to be here weekly. So you're looking to get more sneaker news and step up your game, check us out.
Thanks and take care.
All right. Peace.